Hey y'all, Cameron Budges here with the Mortgage Crew. So if you're watching this video, chances are you probably have received a low appraisal. Let's cover some of the things we can do, some solutions here. So my appraisal came in low, now what? First, take a deep breath, relax, it's gonna be okay. Only about 10%, maybe 10% tops of these transactions come in with a low appraisal and fall through, meaning we don't get to closing. So the reason we get an appraisal first, it confirms that the lender isn't lending more than the home is worth. So if you were to go into foreclosure after closing, after you already own the property, well, we want to make sure that as a lender, we're not lending over the value of the property. So we eliminate risk there by doing so. So normally a low appraisal comes in because of the market. So more so in a seller's market where home prices are elevating quicker than the normal trends, right? So what do we do here? 5 solutions. The first one for you is, as the buyer, you can look to make up the difference yourself. So say you have an appraisal come in, you're purchasing the property for $400,000, the appraisal comes in at $390,000. Well, you can always make up the difference there and put an additional $10,000 down to make up the difference. Another option there is if you're putting more than the minimum down payment. Say you're putting a full 20% down on $400,000. Well, you can take 10% out of your down payment and put that towards the difference of the low appraisal. You would incur mortgage insurance there, but it's an option. Mortgage insurance is going to be relatively cheap in that scenario, so something we can look at there. Second is get a price reduction from the seller. So the seller can always reduce the purchase price. They were trying to sell the property for more than the appraised value. So we can always look to them to reduce their sales price to match that appraised value. And that'll take care of the low appraisal. Third thing, you can always split the difference between you and the seller. So same example, you're buying a property for $400,000, it comes in at $390,000. Well, if you put an extra $5,000 into the transaction and the seller reduces their purchase price, their sales price by $5,000, well, then we can meet in the middle. Obviously, you don't have to meet directly in the middle. There's some negotiating that can be done there. Reduce the sales price by $7,000. You bring an additional $3,000. That would work as well in that situation. So, third solution, you can always split the difference. Fourth, you can challenge the appraisal. So, when we get the appraisal, we always review it. We're going to get it to you as the borrower and review it with your realtor, where we can look at the comps that they used. If the realtor finds or has other comps, normally the listing agent in this case would have other comps where they price a property initially, we can always go to the appraiser, challenge that appraisal, and suggest those additional comps if they weren't already on the appraisal report. So that takes some negotiating. It's back and forth with the appraiser, but it's certainly an option. So last solution for you, you can always walk away from the deal. There are contingencies in the purchase agreements. Anytime you have financing on a property, that appraisal contingency is normally there. So if the property doesn't appraise, then is a time as the buyer to back out of the transaction. You are paying more than the appraised value, so it's your chance to walk away if you want to do so. So I hope this helps somebody out there. When you have a low appraisal, you want to communicate with your lender. You want to communicate back and forth with your realtor as well. And honestly, the three of us are going to be talking daily as we work through this to figure out a solution. So y'all take care. Any questions? Cameron Budges here with the Mortgage Crew. Have a good day. Hopefully no low appraisals. If so, give us a call.